Gracious God, creator of the universe, and yet the lover of my soul. Alpha and Omega, and yet I can call you friend. I don't have to beg you for anything, but I can thank you for everything. God, I thank you because this is the day that you have made, and I can rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this day of magnificence and glory and splendor. God, I thank you for life, health, and for strength. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for peace, love, and joy. I thank you for the essence of you that envelops me right now, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. We thank you for this day of manifestation. We thank you for the day of revelation. We thank you for the day of impartation. We thank you as you move in the midst of your people to bring us to the greatest times that we've ever seen since the foundation of the world. Thank you, Lord, that for this time and for this season, you've allowed us to be a part of your move in the face of the earth. I thank you, God, for the revolution that you're bringing forth, God, even in the midst of the earth right now. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing in this hour, because in the last days, saith God, you said you would pour out your spirit on all flesh. And so now we thank you for the pouring out. God, I thank you for the rain and the move of your spirit. I thank you for fresh oil. I thank you for new wine. I thank you for the new thing that you're doing. I thank you now that it does spring forth. I thank you, Lord, that you've called us to be the head and not the tail. You've called us to be above only and not beneath. You've called us to be the lender and not the borrower. You've called, God, that our storehouses would be full and increase. God, I thank you because even I decree and declare that the people under the sound of my voice, even now, are moving in the might of your strength. Not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. I thank you for those that are the sons and daughters of God that are called because they walk not after the flesh, but after your spirit. I thank you for the rising up of the people of your kingdom. I thank you that your kingdom come. I thank you that your will be done, even now in earth as it is in heaven. I thank you, Lord, because you are moving in the midst of your people mightily as never before. Raise us up, oh God, to the standard of what you've called us to be. God, I thank you for the standard of greatness. I thank you for the standard of holiness. I thank you for the standard of moving as the sons and daughters of yours, and not as vagabonds, not as those that never knew you, not as those that are confused and confounded, but God, those that know who they are in you. I thank you for the knowing. I thank you, God, for knowing you. I thank you for knowing your presence. Thank you for knowing your Holy Ghost power that gives us the ability to be successful. Your anointing that gives us the power to rise up and be called blessed. Thank you for that is in us. Thank you, God, for all things that pertain to life and godliness. Thank you because we are not confused. We are not deceived. And we thank you for that clarity of mind and the clarity of vision that allows us to walk forth as kings and queens, as princes and princesses in the kingdom that walk in the earth. We thank you that we are your beloved, and we rise up as the apple of your eye. We rise up, oh God, as those that you love with all of your heart. And God, we love you back. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for soundness of spirit. I thank you that healing is our bread. Healing is our deliverance. By the stripes of Jesus, we're already healed. And we speak forth that healing even now for those that need it. Thank you, God, for every stripe that was taken. Thank you for the bruising. Thank you that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. God, with those same stripes we declare and we speak healing in Jesus' name. We give you glory, we give you peace, we give you honor, we give you blessing, we give you might. We ascribe all of these things unto you because they are yours. Thank you, the fruit of my lips giving thanks unto your name, ever giving you all that is yours. Glory, honor, power, dominion, majesty is yours. I decree it and I speak it In the mighty name of Jesus, it is so. Amen and amen.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to today's edition of Yes You O Cubed, one-on-one, just me and you. And this is Regina L. Stillman, your spiritual thought leader, and I am so glad that on this Fresh Start Friday, yes, it is March the 26th in the year 2021, and I tell you what, we've made it just another day that the Lord has kept me. That's what we used to sing back in the day. Just another day that the Lord has kept me. So I'm glad that you joined me on this fine day, and y'all know how we get this started, crack-a-lackin'. We are so glad for everybody that's in the house on today. Now, as we come to who is the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair, you know what? She's back. She almost was not dethroned for a long time in there, and then they got her out of the chair some kind of way. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so glad to see you, Kit Annie C. We are glad to see you this morning. I may not have pronounced that right, but y'all help me out. All right. We are so glad that in Grandpa Holmes's chair, the winner was Jams JJ. Yes, she is back as the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair, and we want to congratulate her on today. Yes, you got up in there as you normally, you were the reigning queen. I didn't think they were ever going to get your hips out of that chair, Jams JJ, but they did. But you said, I'm like the Terminator, I'll be back. And so you are back once more and again as the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair. Well, I want to say good morning to everybody that's in my chat. I want to say good morning, BTD Mom. Good morning to the Rebel Inc. Good morning, Jams JJ. Good morning, good morning, good morning to my new friend that's in the chat this morning, Kit Ain't. Y'all help me with that. Tell me how to pronounce your name. Kit Aunt C. Y'all help me with that. I'm going to call you VA because that's what I see at the end. VA. I'm going to call you VA if that'll work. Good morning, VA. And to everybody that's not in the chat, but you're out there auditing, I want Kita, or Kiddo, whichever. If that a long I or short I. So now I'm going to go back to Hooked on Phonics and I believe it's Kita. I'm going to say Kita unless you tell me that's incorrect. I'm glad you're able to laugh because you know what, names are important and I don't want to mess your name up, Kita. So I appreciate you for being in here this morning. I want to, I want to say thank you to everybody that's come in and ask you if you would, for those that will, to go ahead and share the stream, like the stream, if you'd be so kind. Our algorithm position is definitely changing and the outreach is going out farther and farther, and that's because of you. That's because of you. Thank you so much for the host. I believe that's BTD Mom. Thank you for the host. I want to thank you for all of the support that you've given down through the years. Yeah, can y'all believe it's actually been over a year that I've been coming on doing Yes You, and you all have stood by me. Some of you were there from the beginning. Some are just coming in and coming through. Kita, I appreciate you on today. I want you to know that I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope that you enjoy what you hear on this morning. Well, y'all know this is Friday. We call it Fresh Start Friday, and y'all know how we do. We made it another week, y'all. We made it. Ha! You better pick them up and put them down, because we made it. We made it. Yes, there have been some challenges. There have been some things that we've gone through on this week, but you better know we made it on through. I feel like leaping. Yes, I do. And I feel like running, because it's another week that we have seen through to completion. And as we understand, it didn't have to be that way. But I'm so glad that we're still here. And I'm so glad to have this conversation with you on this Fresh Start Friday. So let's get it crack-a-lacking. Y'all know how we do. We just have a good time chatting and conversating, having a conversation with one another up in here. Now, I have to also stop and acknowledge and appreciate my one corporate sponsor who hangs in there with me, has been with me from day one, and she never fails. I mean, without fail, she never fails to make it her way, make it her point to be here with me every single morning that I'm here. So I want you all to go out there, therebelinc.com. She has beautiful, awesome activewear. Get you some. Yes, therebelinc.com will bless your whole life. I promise you, it will bless your whole life. And so I don't know if y'all noticed, she was over there in the corner bucking. The Rebel Ink was over in that corner bucking, hollering and screaming, "Ain't God all right?" I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love every last one of you. Now let's get this party crack-a-lacking. Let's get it going. Let's get our music going. And y'all going to tell me where we need to be on the volume. I think we'll pull that down just a little bit and let it roll. And actually, I want to go to that other track. So we're going to get this thing going. Always have to stop and acknowledge King Coogee. You all go out there and check him out. King Coogee provided the music for us so that we could have our own exclusive sound on Yes You O Cubed, one-on-one, just me and you. And that's my sire, that's my friend. He's another brother that I met out here on Twitch, and he's a beautiful soul. I just love him. So as we get that shout out for King Coogee, I appreciate my mods, Jams JJ and the Rebel Ink do an excellent job. Every morning they come in here and they do what they do. 23, I want to say good morning to you. It's good to see you back, my friend. And thank you for coming back in to hang out with us this morning. Teresa Jones is in the house, y'all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As she tells us frequently, this is the day the Lord has made and we're rejoicing in it and we're glad. I tell you what, I appreciate everybody this morning. Now, I'm going to start with this story because it's really going to kind of piggyback off of what we talked about yesterday in our empowerment section of Yes You O Cubed. And we talked about, our word of the day is village gathering, and we talked about colorism. Well, wouldn't it be interesting? While we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, the TV host by the name of Rob Lederman was fired from his radio host position because he compared black women's skin tones to toaster settings in a joke that he was trying to do. Thank you, Rashida Renee, for liking the stream. Now, he said what he was trying to do, and we say, the article said, it was reported to me, the article said he was attempting to give a poor apology. The radio host said he was fired for doing his best Don Imus impression. I'm gonna say that again. Good morning, Tasty. Peace and love to you too. And it's always tasty when you come up in here. It's always tasty when you come up in here. Thank you so much for coming this morning. Now, the radio host said he was trying to do his best Don Imus impression by using this racist, anti-black language on the air. And all of a sudden, and I told y'all this on yesterday when we were talking about, we were talking about boycotting, we walking away from you, let's girl-cott, that's who we're gonna support. This boycott and the money, I told you that's the only thing that racists seem to understand is when you start messing with the money. The the radio station fired him. Rock 97 in Buffalo, New York said there's no place for that here. They terminated the brother. Well, then the brother come back talking about, I'm horrified that I'm horrified. But you weren't horrified when you said it. You did a whole, thank you for following. I appreciate you for following. Thank you so much. Mathan, thank you for being here with us. Now, this is what I want to question. And so we had this conversation yesterday in our empowerment, because we were basically encouraging all of the people of color and black folks that still are struggling with colorism. We're imploring and begging and asking you to walk away from this dastardly behavior and mindset, because it has no place in today's time, period. Straight up blank. It just has no place anymore. Thank you for liking the stream. So at this point, here we come, and it's almost like, Teresa, thank you for liking the stream. It was almost like prophetic, because who knew? When I came out and said, okay, when we talk about village gathering, what else can we pull into the stream to have a serious and honest discussion that needs to be addressed? So then we got Mathan is a good man. Come on and testify on Mathan's behalf, Tasty. So I'm always glad to have good men in the stream. I'm looking and I'm saying, somebody made a conversation statement on yesterday in the chat that some of this comes from, and it might have even been on the video that I showed, how the outside influences continue to help us perpetuate this action of colorism within our community. I'm so glad, and I have to say, when I read that this morning, wow, we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, that really Rock 97 came out unequivocally. We didn't put you on leave. We didn't slap your hand. We said goodbye, ta-ta, toodaloo, because you are the weakest link. We have no place for that in our format. So I'm appreciative that they came out, and then I'm like, who is trying to imitate Don Imus to begin with? So, I'm so glad that they immediately took action against this brother Rob Lederman, and said to him, we don't stand for that. And so, the whole idea of finding different ways to perpetuate and continue to drive this wedge of colorism within the black community. Stop it. So with that, I really want to say to Rock 97 in Buffalo, you deserve a cheer this morning. Yes, you deserve a cheer for making it clear you will have no parts with the colorism and the joking allegedly. And he said he feels horrible. What he feels horrible about, ladies and gentlemen, is that he no longer has a job. Does he feel contrition? Because even as they said, it was a poor apology, because the man never said he was sorry. The man never said he was sorry. There's no race but the human race. Come on, Tasty, and prophesy over here in this chat. Tell the truth and shame the devil. So at the end of the day, it's like, no. We're not going to stand for it, and goodbye. I want us to continue to put pressure on the individuals that would love to continue to drive this wedge between people. This is a time where the villages are gathering. I don't care. We don't care about the color of your skin, which is nothing but the difference in the amount of melanin that's in your skin. Otherwise, we all the same color. And that's the reality of the situation. If you deal with that melanin and get rid of the melanin factor, we're gonna all be the same color. And we definitely all come from the same creator, and we all have originated from Mother Africa, who said, I nursed them with these, I nursed them with these, I nursed them with these, and then they got different levels of melanin in them, and they started hating each other and killing each other and talking about each other and maiming each other. But we're coming back. Let's go back to Eden, live on top of the world. We're going back to that reality that we're all one blood and one one kindred. So I appreciate Rock 97, and I wanted to start with that this morning because I just felt like that was a marvelous story. Mel, it's good to see you. Good morning. All of our blood it bleeds red, and so there you have it. There's no difference about any of us when you get down to the nitty gritty. We are one blood and one kin. So as we move into this time of village gathering, I wanted to start with that on this morning before we got into all the negativity, because there's so much negativity to talk about, y'all. It's just so much out there. Alabama, we're giving prayers. We're giving our prayers and love to Alabama, who had tornadoes that came through. And I told you all yesterday morning that the prediction and the forecasting was saying we were going to have weather all day long. I know right up here this morning, it's foggy as I don't know what outside. Different areas, I know we tend to be in our area. We can have one thing and then I can drive 5 miles away from here on the highway and it'd be a totally different situation. But the fog is here. Alabama got exactly what they forecasted. The tornadoes hit, and they're reporting this morning that they have 5 at least that they have found that are dead from the many damages that were done to the buildings, and people are saying it was horrible. So we want to send all kinds of love, all kinds of energy, anything else that can go in the direction. Some of you may have ability to send finance or whatever the case may be to help in Alabama, but our hearts go out to them as they go through this time of trying to rebuild. And I tell you what, was it last year, I think it was last year or the year before, we had what they didn't call it a tornado, but for my purposes, it was a tornado. They call them these microbursts and everything else. You know, we got new terms and new ways of describing what's going on. Looked like it was a tornado to me. But we drove out past Bonner Springs, going to just look at what had hit what was Western Wyandotte County, and man, it just like the houses look like toothpicks. What was left of them, they're just destroyed, and the power of wind, and you know what, we got to think about that, the power of wind. And I'm gonna use that as an allegory. One of the reasons why we constantly are telling you that we are lions and you're going to hear us roar is the power of wind. If we all speak, if we all talk, if we all provide our wind, our voices, our energy towards a situation, we can tear down to build up. And when I say tear down, I'm saying let's tear down the racism, let's tear down the white supremacy, let's tear down the colorism. That wind has the ability and the power to come through and tear it down. Yes, this pride of lions, Pride, this pride of lions is relentless, and you're going to hear us roar. So the more we roar, and the interesting thing about lions is that their roar has the ability to be heard over 5 miles away. It's not just a cat's purr. It's not just a meow. But when lions roar, we have distance that goes along with that roar. And that's what we are striving to do as we come through, even in the stories that we tell while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, is that you will be awakened as lions and rise up and begin to roar. And just like that tornadic power of the wind made a change in just one pass, I feel like we have the power to make a change in just a few passes that will make a difference in the world. That being said, we're going to keep on going. I really want to get to my main story that I want to talk about, but I'm trying to look at some other things here that I want to get to before. Now, you know, I normally don't get into the gossip type columns, but the root, it was reported to me. Derrick Jackson has been trending for some time. And this is a young black brother that made his millions by giving black women advice. I could say a few things about that on their relationships with brothers, with men. And then it was reported to me that he initially came out trying to deny and denounce the reality. Lord have mercy. Yes, Derek, he's still trending, Rebel. He's still trending. And so I just want to touch on it for just a second. I'm not going to give him a whole lot of time, but I just got to touch on it for a second. Listen, you all stop following individuals that are less than reputable just because they know how to what's the word I want to say? They're wordsmiths. That's what I'm going to say. They're wordsmiths. I know how to link words together. I know how to say something that sounds so smooth. I know how to put ideas. This is the way you should do it, and that's what you should do it. I think the brother was able to talk about men to walk away from because he's a perfect example of it. Because at the end of the day, after all is said and done, this brother finally, when folks start coming out the woodwork and talking about, well, I've been in a relationship with him and I've been in a relationship. And see, that's the thing, y'all. I want us to come to a point where we don't hang our hat on a personality and an individual. Because at the end of the day, I want you to pay attention. So many people on the internet, you can present yourself, you can be an absolute monster and present yourself on the internet where it looks like you're just squeaky clean. And then this is where, and I'm gonna say this because I want to come from this angle, and this is really my only, I won't say my only, but one of my main reasons for addressing this story at all. It's been trending. Women keep coming out the woodwork, and then finally one came 2 days ago and said, I'm pregnant. So, this brother has talked about, called people by name and tore them down. And this is what I want to understand, and I want you to understand. When people are constantly beating people down and talking really, really ugly about them with no grace and no mercy. No grace and no mercy. Do y'all remember the whole PTL scandal back in the day? And the running joke, PTL paid the lady because Jim Baker had all of his little skeletons that start coming out of the closet. And then we had Jimmy Swaggart, who comes out, and a lot of this I'm addressing because this is what we do in the religious industry, and you need to stop it. You need to stop it. You had then Jimmy Swaggart, who came out and says he's a cancer that needs to be excised out of the body of Christ. And that's almost an exact quote. He's a cancer that needs to be excised out of the body of Christ. I want you to understand, a lot of times when you hear individuals with no grace and no mercy, no grace and no mercy. I'm gonna say it again. No grace and no mercy. And they keep harping on one particular topic, is usually because they're guilty of that one particular topic. Can I get an amen? 9 times out of 10, I've never seen it fail that the people that pick on individuals, talk badly about them, put them on Front Street and just make them feel horrible, sound horrible. And even with that, I understand he has an opportunity. The brother that I'm talking about has an opportunity to get it right. But this is what happens. As some people call it, karma. Karma will come back to bite you. And I want people to understand, even in so many ways, if you're really trying to deal with something, then you can do it in a way that is not devastating and destructing to that individual. They almost cannot come back and recover from it. Love covers a multitude of faults and sins. Now, with that, I'm not saying the idea of just, I'm just going to be ignorant and stupid and let somebody keep abusing me. There comes a point in time, beloved, when enough is enough and too much is too much. So I'm not saying to continue in a situation, a relationship particularly, that is destructive and tearing you down, for you to stay in it, because love covers a multitude of faults and sins. Love can cover you while I'm on the other side of the city. So, these are things I want us to start paying attention to, because it keeps happening in the community, and I really want to address it happening in the Black community. And I want to say to you guys, stop it. Stop hanging your hat on these individuals and then getting absolutely positively devastated and tore up from the floor up when they come out and show they are not who they say they are. As Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, believe them. And at this point, I'm looking at the millions of followers that are still going to continue to follow because you've hung your hat on this man's hat rack. And I'm saying, why? And then the whole idea, and I'm gonna say this and I'm done with him, as he gives his so-called lame fifth apology, he goes and closes it out with, but hit the link and buy my book. Could it be? Y'all ain't ready for me this morning. Could it be? The devil? Now, I'm going to tell you, all of that conversation with a lame excuse, yes, honey, I'm telling you, ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. When you hear them giving this lame excuse and then close out their excuse apology with hit the link and buy my book. You don't need discernment for that, beloved. You don't need discernment for that. You're seeing front and center what the real issue is. I'm after your money. So yes, babies, I don't just throw shade, I shed light. So I want you to hear me. Stop getting caught up. Good morning, King Coogee. Good morning to your beautiful soul. We gave you a shout out earlier, but we'll shout it again because we're still enjoying your phenomenal music that you have provided. I want our community to, all the communities, for real, wake up and smell the coffee. Yes, get those coffee cups out. Wake up and smell the coffee. Stop running after gurus just because they seem like guru personalities to you. And oh my goodness, they sound perfect. They look perfect. They talk perfectly. I want you all to get something down. Can I say it like this? I want you all get something down in your shando where you can start to discern foolishness from stuff that makes sense. Because listen, a lot of this stuff is just straight up foolishness. And because we are not anchored and because we don't have the ability to think for ourselves and process some things. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say this and one last thing and I'm out of here. When men come out and make whole entire platforms off of telling women what to do, side eye from me. Because listen, I'm like, brother, thank you. But at the end of the day, if you're making your whole entire purse, if you're making all your coins and you looking over here at the sisters getting your coin, it's just the newbies and we tell them what they want to hear. We get the feel good that we want to get and we get your coins and we on our way. I always have a little bit when your whole platform, your whole entire platform is built and the foundation of it is telling women what to do. I'm going to give you some side eye. I'm going to just tell it like it. T-I-Z-Tis. Listen, y'all know how I do over here. As we tell it, no cream, no sugar. We take our coffee strong and black. Yes, we do. Because we tell it like it. T-I-Z-Tis. And I see you. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%, Coogee. There is anybody that's coming out like I am the absolute perfect to give you all the advice, because listen, there is no perfect out there. Please be clear on that, because everybody has an opinion, but at the same time, my opinion is not always the right opinion. It's my opinion. It doesn't mean it's the right answer. It's my opinion. And don't get opinion confused with facts. Only the facts, ma'am. That's what they said on Dragnet, Sergeant Friday. Only the facts, ma'am. And if you don't have some facts to undergird and support your opinion means nothing. But there is no perfect, Coogee. There is no perfect. And we've got to learn how to stop just handing our trust over to everything and everybody because it looks good and sounds good. And so I'm going to close with the old folks had an adage, everything that glitters ain't gold. And there you have it. And that's all I want to say about that brother. And he's still trending. And I'm not even talking about him, but I want you all to be aware. Some people just want to stay in the headlines. And so they'll do whatever they can do. Y'all know how you have those kids in class and they just act out every time you turn around, the teacher's on them. Every time you turn around, you hear their name being called. Every time you turn around, you can't even have class and learn because you got that one person that's monopolizing all the attention and soaking up all the oxygen in the room. Well, beloved, I want you to be clear on that, because a lot of times that's narcissism too, because they want all eyes on me. And let's be clear on that. And not only do little children do it, but grown-ups do it too. Be aware. Now, Meghan McCain, finally, her qualifications are being questioned as her representation on The View is going viral. Because at the end of the day, this sister has made a living from what her father and his name provides to her. Can we say privilege? Because how many of our hips are going to just walk up somewhere where we have no qualifications, we have no experience, we have nothing whatsoever, and you keep talking and spewing racist rhetoric, and you keep coming up and showing that you do not have, and I want to be clear on this point too, for a lot of the talk shows, they want that individual on there that's going to kind of stir up the pot, because that's ratings. That's ratings. But at what point, and they're challenging The View, at what point do you say enough is enough and too much is too much? So while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, there is an outcry, and it just keeps swelling and building, where people are saying to The View, how long do we have to go with Meghan for y'all get rid of her? Get rid of her, because we've had enough of her rhetoric. And she just keeps on going. She just keeps on and keeps on. She just keeps on. Now listen, we sing a song, my girl said, he just keeps on doing great things for me. That ain't what we getting from Meghan McCain. And maybe that's what The View is saying. She just keeps on doing great things for us because our ratings and our views just keep going up. But at the end of the day, I want to see some more Rock 97 in Buffalo, New York happen with these television stations and these radio stations. If these individuals are going to continue to spew and put out racist rhetoric, we want them gone. We're not talking about another chance. We're not talking about negotiating your salary and your pay. We want you gone. Out of there, because at the end of the day, this is the only way we're going to shut this stuff down in these United States of America. When we stand up and show we're not going to have it, we're not going to stand for it. And I said it just like we see with this radio host that came out this morning, and he's got a contrite spirit, and what I said was horrible. Yes, sir, what you said was horrible, and you no longer have a job. Goodbye. Until we hit them, goodbye. Listen, James JJ, goodbye is what they need to say until they start dealing with these people's money. And that money is what gives them power. Until we continue to keep the pressure on by dealing and touching their money, we're going to continue to have racism in this country. But you keep on putting them, serving them on notice, they going to wake up and smell the coffee, and they going to stop with all of that foolishness. I promise you they will. So listen, let's keep the pressure on. I'm one of those that happens to agree she needs to go. She's had several opportunities to come back and try to make it right, but at this point and this stage of the game, and the same with Sharon Osbourne, who they came out with some new clips while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, and really this is the issue. We've heard racist rhetoric the whole time. They've just tried to veil it and cloak it. But even with Sharon Osbourne, and I'm not going to go through all of that, but if you go back and even the person that she was gouging and tearing up, Sherry said, I thought we were friends. So at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with believing somebody until they show you something differently. But this is what I'm going to go back and say again. This was going on and has been going on for a long time from these individuals, and they've been getting away with it on the networks because it's been cloaked. And at the end of the day, cloaked, I don't care. It's still racism. Cloaked rhetoric that's racist is still racist. And I I need some folk to start calling this stuff on the carpet, and don't take everything and no. If your eyebrow raised, if it raised your eyebrow, you need to stop and give that a little bit more inspection. What's really going on and what are you really saying? And maybe even, this is where I want us as people in our development of relationship. If something didn't hit you right, come on, Rebel. If something didn't hit you right, what's wrong with, don't have to do it and embarrass and humiliate somebody, but what's wrong with going to an individual after it's over and hey, I need a point of clarity on this. Something didn't hit my shondo. Some of y'all really need to learn how to activate your shondo. Your shondo is sleep. Your shondo is dead. You need to wake it up or resurrect it. You need to stop. If something doesn't hit you right down in your gut, if something doesn't hit you right down in your belly, if something doesn't hit you right down in your heart, now don't let that just take you over the cliff and you just go for a plummet. But listen, I can stop if my shondo gave me a little quiver. When the wind of truth blow that cloak, start to fly away and show your true fit. Come on here, Coogee. When you get that wind that's blowing on you that sounds and feels like, this is suspect, you might need to have a conversation with that individual for a point of clarity. When you said XYZ, and give them an opportunity to clarify. But I will say this, if you gotta get clarity every 2 or 3 minutes, something is wrong. Are you hearing what I'm saying? If you got to get clarity every other word, something is wrong. And as Coogee said, the wind of truth is blowing that cloak. So at the end of the day, I want you all, as we're going into this next phase of life, because listen, the times are changing. The times, they are a-changing without a doubt. So we want to definitely understand that in this age of God, I keep talking about the age of God, learn how to pay attention to your shondo. You trying to figure out a good business deal. Yes, look at all the facts, weigh all of the issues, but also I want you to get something out of your shondo. What does your shondo say? You're looking at friends, you're looking at relationships, you're looking at whatever it is that's going on in your life. Learn how to wake that shondo up and start paying attention, because if something ain't setting right down in there, don't jump off into something headlong that you ain't feeling comfortable about. Now, we want to stop and just pay homage and respect to Jessica Walters, who has passed away, and there are a lot of people that loved Arrested Development and Archer. She was 80 years old. We want to give her all kinds of love and props for a career that she has really contributed to, and we want to continue. As I'm scrolling down and I'm getting ready to come to what we're going to talk about, we're going to continue to send prayers and love to her family. Now, what's really trending, come on, Coogee, before we leave that topic, if that wind stink, if that wind stank, your wind of truth stank, for people wondering where the wind came from. Didn't we talk about passing gas and flatulence one day? Well, we won't go back to that one. That's from another podcast that we did earlier last year. Y'all go and find it. But we had a whole discussion on the wind and flatulence and stinking wind. So listen, if the wind stank, you know where it came from. Now, what I really want to talk about today, because what's really trending, and I tried to get some of these other stories in, because I know this is going to take me a little bit of a second to deal with this. While we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, Georgia. Oh, Georgia. Lord Jesus. Georgia. And that wretched governor of Georgia. Wind of Truth is the new name. Come on and make it plain. Make it plain, Coogee. Come on and make it plain. Georgia. Now, at the end of the day, and while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, Georgia is in an uproar, y'all. Georgia is in a whole uproar. If you didn't know, now you know. It was reported to me while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. What is trending all over Twitter, Twitch, and social media? is the dastardly business that's going on down in Georgia. So somebody said, spiritual thought leader, what's going on in Georgia? So we have the governor, who is governor under suspicion, because y'all remember, listen, Keita, let me tell you, Georgia, who has the governor that suddenly and mysteriously was able to pull out from my girl, Sister Abrams, and he didn't do nothing but just fire her up. She said, listen, let me tell you, I'm a lion, and you gonna hear me roar. And this pride, Pride, of lions is relentless, and you gonna hear us roar. So listen, she said, we gonna go out, we gonna get the voters, and we're gonna do it the way it should be done in the democratic process. We're gonna go get the votes. And so she got out, and with her agency, you live in Georgia. I love Miss Abrams. I love her. Listen, Keita, that baby, she got my heart. Listen, you get out there and make some noise, Keita, out there in Georgia, because y'all got dastardly things going on. And this is what's trending all over. That your governor, Keita, your governor closed the doors like a criminal trying to hide somewhere, and signed into law voter suppression. So, you know, while he was, and I'll go back and get into more particulars of that, but now we changed the hours of voting, which is directly impacting the people of color. We went back to the ID required, and unfortunately, Missouri is on the same path with our history of racism. They changed all of these things, the boxes where you could drop off, all of these things. If you don't know it, Keita, now you know. You have a new law that the governor went in hiding and secret and signed. So one of your representatives went, and I'm gonna play this little clip so y'all can see it. One of y'all's representatives went while he was signing and saying, if you're gonna do something that the voters are not behind, but if you're gonna do something, don't throw a rock and hide your hand. Come out of hiding and show yourself. So she goes and she says, basically, she wants to observe him sign the law. And so she's knocking on the door. I'm not gonna say too much. Let me just share the screen and let y'all see. So at the end of the day, we'll come back and have a little bit more chit chat about what went on here. And I hope that y'all, I'm gonna turn the music off just for a second, because I want y'all to be able to hear clearly in the fullness what all's going on in this clip. And Georgia, Keita, y'all, I need you to get to work down there in Georgia. Help your representatives out, because they are trying to stand up for people of color. And at the end of the day, they're being fought tooth and nail. So here we go. And it makes you wonder, and I'm gonna come back and have this conversation. It makes you wonder what these next few years are gonna look like, y'all. So here we go with the screen share. I'm gonna try to blow this up so y'all can see it. But here we go.
Why did she have to step back?
The governor is signing a bill that affects all Georgians. Why is he doing it in private, and why is he trying to keep elected officials who are representing us out of the process?
Exactly.
I know you don't have any control over anything about it, suppressing people's right to vote and using your guidance and your abilities to talk.
Yeah, you said you give her one more time, like you're gonna do something. Are you serious?
No, you are not.
No. She's not under arrest.
For what? Under arrest for what? For trying to see something that our governor is doing? Our governor is signing a bill that affects all Georgians, and you're going to arrest an elected representative. Why does the governor have more power than a representative? Why are you arresting her?
That's what I'm asking.
Stop arresting her.
Why are you arresting
Why?
her? Why are you arresting her?
Cite the violation. Cite the code. What is she in violation of? I want you to cite the code. Cite the code. Cite it. What are you? Cite the code. Cite the code. Cite the code. Why are you arresting her? Under what? Under what? Under what law are you arresting her? Why are you arresting her? Why are you arresting her? Tell us now. Why are you arresting her? Sign it. Give me a reason why you are arresting her.
And beloved, that's really what's trending this morning. While you slumbered, slept, and slobbered, Georgia is back in the news, only this time not because of the awesome work of Miss Abrams, but this state representative. She is an elected official who was knocking on the door. Now, this is the thing that is trending so heavily. And why? Now, number one, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy, Rebel. That's crazy all day long. Especially, can I remind you? Let me get my music back crack-a-lacking, because I might start hollering and screaming up in here. Because I mean, this is. If you saw some of the comments, are we becoming a Gestapo state or what is it? Because at the end of the day, there is no code. Did you hear the lady that kept saying, cite the code? She's under arrest for violation, they kept saying. And they were like, cite the code. What is she under arrest for? What is she under arrest for? Now, I want y'all to hear me when I say this. They arrested her for felony. Now, mind you, the insurrectionists on January the 6th, and a lot of them are still walking around. A lot of the insurrectionists have not been touched yet because they were allowed to gather, to riot, to walk around in the we're talking about the headquarters. This woman is at a state capitol, the headquarters. They were allowed to walk and roam around in there with not one touch from anybody. And so here we have this woman that she knocks on the door and says she wants to witness the governor. And now let's keep this clear, not just a woman, an elected official. Now I'm gonna take a survey from you guys that are in there in my chat. Give me a 1 if you feel like it was her right to be there. Give me a 2 if you feel like she was out of order and being disorderly. Now, she did not do anything but knock on the door because she wanted to, as she said, she wanted to see. And as a citizen of Georgia, as an elected official of Georgia, she wanted to see him sign this dastardly, I'm telling you, just dastardly. She wanted to see him sign this legislation. Coochie, you felt like she should have been there. Jams JJ, you felt like she should have been there. Listen, Keita, you feel like she should have been there. Teresa, you feel like she had the right. She had the right to be there. And again, I'm gonna keep stressing this. Yes, the Rebel Inc., you agree she should have been there. She is an elected state representative. And they charged her with felony, not trespassing like they did with the insurrectionists at the Capitol. Federal charges at the State House. And the police officer, 23, ain't that a mess? Ain't that a mess? And the police officer said she assaulted him because she stepped on his foot 3 times. I'm gonna say it again. They got her with federal trespassing charges. And the police officer said she stepped on his foot 3 times with her heel. I'm going to say it one more time. One for the Father, one for the Son, and one for the Holy Ghost. They charged her with federal trespassing charges, and the police officer said it was an assault on the officer because as they were carrying her away in handcuffs under arrest, and she did spend several hours in jail. While they were arresting her, she stepped on his foot 3 times and assaulted him with her heels. Could it be? Could it be? The devil? Baby, that ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. And at the end of the day, Georgia, we see you, dirty Georgia. White racist supremacist Georgia, we see you trying to hold the people down because all they did was rise up and vote. So you said if we can't keep you from voting, we'll make laws and sign them into effect so that you can't vote again. This is madness. And yet I say unto you, insurrectionists from January 6th that don't look like the woman that they arrested are still trotting their little hot tails around free. I really trying to get some understanding. Now, the thing that I love about the state representative going out here, Representative Park Cannon, that's her name, Parkcannon. So I want you all to remember her effect to say just how dastardly this stupidity is that you would arrest her for knocking on the door. And do I need to pull up footage of the insurrectionists on January the 6th with a noose hanging outside saying which are we gonna hang first, Pelosi, or are we gonna get Pence? And then you come in with weapons, you come in with bear gas, you come in with tear gas and all of this, and you roam around and totally destroy the nation's capital, and you turn around and walk out footloose and fancy free, never touched, and you arrest Representative Park Cannon for knocking on the door. That's what's trending while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. And Teresa, you telling the truth. They did not mean for the public to see this. Good morning, Royal Confessions. I just not saw you. I was so worked up about this footage. Good morning to you, sis. Good morning. That's my iron. Don't knock, kick it in, Mel. But see, let me tell you the wisdom of Representative Park Cannon. She didn't act unseemingly. She didn't holler. She didn't scream. She didn't kick the door down, because then you can't accuse that she was aggressive, that she was out of order. You can't accuse her of any of that because she didn't do any of that. And for that, I'm going to unshade. Y'all know I don't just throw shade, I shed light. And if you cannot identify that this is open and flagrant racism in motion, that you're going, and they held her. Oh yes, don't kid yourself. This was not a photo op, because number one, they really didn't want to be filmed. It was the people around that actually took this footage and put it out on Facebook, and I hope it goes everywhere. I got it on my Facebook page. I've got it on Not Afraid to Speak. I've got it on Yes You page, and I hope y'all share this, because I want the whole world to let this go viral to see just how dirty Georgia is. And not just Georgia, because Missouri is right on the same track. And so this is where we are, my friends. If they can't keep black folks from voting, and y'all know we are the election winners, Keita, I want to applaud you. I'm going to stop right now. And applaud you, because I hope you were in the number in Georgia that helped to turn this thing around by voting. I hope that you were in that number. But for all of the people in Georgia that voted and spoke up and made that red state blue, I want to say thank you. And let me applaud you one more time. And I just want to say that what we see is the reality, and this is the fear of racist whoremongering. Thank you, Kitty. Come on, I'm gonna applaud you one more, Keita, one more time. Because Keita, y'all turn this thing around. Keita. And now that they realize you help people get. Oh, that deserves all of it. Help the people get there. That's what I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, we saw village gathering, and that's really what we saw Miss Abrams do. I have so much respect for her. Let me give her some applause. She was a village gatherer. And she showed what village gathering could do. Am I talking to anybody? She showed, and the young people too. Come on, Keita. That's what we've got to do, beloved, and that's the power of village gathering. And this is their way. Now, so that kind of brings me to this. And I saw Teresa say something earlier. I missed your comment. I'm gonna come back and get it. But it brings me to the point where I'm like, we've got to do more of this, because we see the power of what it will do if we will just go ahead and start building the village, because our coming together will make the difference. I'm gonna say it again. Trump name is written all over what's going on. I know I saw your name fly by, and I wanted to acknowledge your comment. Trump, his name, and all of those and listen, I'm gonna put it one further than that, Teresa. Trump is just representative of the racism in these white leadership that have been out here all of this time. They've been out here all of this time. Come on, 23. I'm trying to tell it. Listen, we take our coffee, no cream, no sugar. We take our coffee strong and black, because I tell it like it T-I-Z-Tiz. Trump represents that white supremacist, racist group that doesn't want to lose power and control, which includes Mitch McConnell, which includes Cruz, which includes all of these others out here that are running around spewing this racist rhetoric, as well as challenging still that Trump did not, that he won the election, that he really was cheated, the big lie that the stop the steal, and they still are supposedly trying to stop the steal in the future by coming up with this bogus resolution and law and legislation that is only intended to keep minorities and black folks from voting. That's all it is. It's the same as how many marbles are in the jar. It's the same as read this passage and explain it to me from the Constitution. All the things that we saw them do to keep black bodies from voting before, it's just the new way with the new KKK hood, and you're trying to do it from the courts. I said it again yesterday. I'm gonna say it again today. That's why Mitch McConnell and Trump were in unison in this. Fill every seat. They wanted every judge's seat that was vacant filled before Trump left office. Why did they want to do that? So that now, even if you win out here in public opinion, Even if you win out here at some level, you will not win in the courts. That's what they were doing, and that's what we see happening. And that's why you have little small men like the governor of Georgia shutting his doors and hiding in his office to sign into law voter suppression. And the nerve, after we watched January 6th unfold on national TV, the nerve of them, while they tried to do it secretly and in silence, the nerve of them to arrest this woman, put her in handcuffs like a criminal, and take her to jail and leave her there for hours. And I'm going to say it once more and again. Some of the insurrectionists, their hips, their lips, and their fingertips are still walking free. Whew. I've had all I can stand till I can't stand no more. But I hope that what Representative Parks Cannon has done, I hope that she's the domino that's going to start everything to toppling so that we can stop this madness. Now, that being said, and I normally try to stay out of the weeds. I normally try to stay out of the weeds when it comes to partisanship. You just made it to work. I love you. Thank you so much for coming in, Keita. Thank you so much for coming. We enjoyed you today, and you have a fresh start Friday as well. All kind of love coming at you, Keita. And thank you for joining us today. I hope we'll see you back. Now, and take care of Georgia. You take care of Georgia, Keita, and then come back and tell us what's going on. Now, at the end of the day, while we talk about people in Georgia that are still, people all over that are still walking free, I want to show you this. And these are insurrectionist videos, but I want you to see this. And I'm gonna share this. Listen, because I'm about shaming the devil. I'm about exposing everything that ain't right. Now, I want y'all to look at this, because let me see if I can blow it up. This, in case you can't see, let me see, can we get it bigger? Oh no, that went small. Is that as big as I can get that? Come on, there we go. Now, some of y'all might be like, why are you showing that, spiritual thought leader? Because that is a Texas lawmaker, Kyle Biederman, that gentleman you see right here. Y'all see where that man right there. Is Kyle Biederman from the great state of Texas at the insurrection. I'm gonna let that sink in. I'm gonna say it one more time. That is Texas lawmaker and representative Kyle Biederman on the steps of the U.S. Capitol as the rioters were fighting and clashing with the police officers. Before this footage was unearthed and released, Biederman was confirmed that he was in D.C., but his exact whereabouts were unknown. It was confirmed he was in D.C., but his exact whereabouts were unknown. I'm gonna just leave that there for a second. Texas? Oh, Texas. There you see your lawmakers posted up. There you see your lawmakers. Now, I said it before. Now, let me come on over. And I believe this footage here is going to give you a better perspective of this man and his participation. Because at the end of the day, he is posted up. And is my video not gonna, is it not gonna, let me shut one of these tabs down, see if it allowed to kick in. If not, let's see, will this one show it? Oh, that's a different one. I want y'all to see that.
Fuck the government! Fuck their bullshit tyranny acting!
Defend the Constitution! You took an oath!
We don't want Biden! He's a pedophile!
Hey, it's okay. We ain't gonna do nothing about it. This is bad. We will not accept socialism as our economic and political system.
Communism. It's
We will
communism.
not accept communism. Australia has returned to becoming a prison island all over again. It's now a new penal colony as a prison. There was no racism in the United States. There was no racism. There was none. Now they've recreated racism. They've recreated it in your world.
We, the people, are not going to take it anymore. You are not going to take away our trophy bear. We will never let our country go to the globalists. George Soros, you can go to hell.
Epstein, bro! Motherfucker Epstein's got the block! He's Epstein! It's the faggot Epstein!
Bill Gates wants you guys dead.
We don't want none, I guess.
Governor Cuomo's a shitbag pile of garbage.
Unleash the Kraken! Let's go! Has the Kraken been unleashed?
Yeah, I think so.
He's our king, and Trump is our president.
Police are traitors! Police are traitors! Police are traitors!
We will protect you! I have your back, sir! I have your back!
Get the fuck out of here! We love our cops. We love God, we love our country. I'm not here to break any laws.
Hey, you know what? It's our property. We have the right to break it.
This is a peaceful protest! Peaceful!
You need to go get a fucking gun.
No fucking shit.
We're not the other side. We're not the other side.
That's what they want! We're not giving a fuck!
You're a moron. I believe in peaceful resolve, but you're making it goddamn impossible for us. Death is the only remedy for what's in that building. Well, you stand up and you either scrap. Everybody in there is a treasonous traitor.
Come on! What the fuck are we doing? I can't even see! Let's fucking go! Hey, smoke him if you got him! Hey, what's up, brother? We're getting baked in the fucking Capitol! USA! Yeah! We stopped the bomb! Yeah!
People should probably coordinate together if you're going to take this building.
Let's go get a beer and then come back. We love America. That's why we're here.
Donald Trump tweeted out a video about 25 minutes ago. He said we did a good fucking job.
And there you have it. And there you have it. And they walked away untouched, unscathed, And even as the lawmaker of Texas is still yet walking around free, we've had an arrest in Georgia. So I wanted to just contrast. I wanted to open up with the video of, and my apologies for the language for some of you that might have been offended by the language. But I wanted you to see that video so you could have the contrast, so that you could see the difference, so that you could judge justly the difference between Representative Park Connors knocking on the door to what we saw on January the 6th in an insurrection attempt. And who's in jail? Who got handcuffed? And who sat in a jail until they released her with charges, federal charges, and assault on an officer. One last time, because I just can't help it. It just, there's no way I can get around it. Could it be? Could it be? The devil. That ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. So I did this purposely because I wanted to contrast. Now, you all heard the gentleman, and I'm going to be so nice as to call him that, say there is no racism in America. There never has been any racism in America. They're rewriting the story to make there be racism in America. And the demented woman that said, we want our Trumpy bear back. This, beloved, is why we need village gatherers. This is why we've got to come together. This is why we've got to go back to Tuesday's topic of discussion. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. And we've got to care for one another. We've got to have that time of stop closing our eyes and our ears to our brother and our sister and our children's issues and dilemmas. And we've got to engage ourselves actively to participate in their struggle, because we're not free until we're all free. We're not really healed until we're all healed. And we've got to go back to the people and the individuals. I hope that Representative Connor is getting more support and outpouring of love now than she ever has in her whole life, to be bold enough to do something as simple as knocking on the door to say to the governor, I want to see you sign this piece of legislation. I want to see you do it. I hope that the village all across the United States, and I'm so serious about this, I hope that it wakes up black people, white people, every color of melanin, every hue and shade of melanin in the country to galvanize. And this is the thing, and I said it earlier, and I kind of changed course because I've been holding this statement until the right time. But it makes me wonder, and I'm not trying to be partisan, but do you not understand that the Republicans are standing in solidarity 100% against all of this dastardly behavior? And I mean, it's just dastardly. There's no other term to define it and describe it. It's just dastardly. As they stand together in solidarity, is there even a Republican Party that is worthy of anything at this point? Y'all tell me if you hear some chatter out there where Republicans are talking amongst themselves and saying this has got to stop. Because all I've seen so far is all of them standing together as one party in one voice. And yes, I understand some may not agree with the tactics, some may not, but at the end of the day, when you put your money where your mouth is, i.e. your vote, when you vote, I don't care how much your mouth is saying I don't agree. I don't care how much your internal insides are saying I don't agree. When you need to put that response where it really, really matters, you keep voting the wrong way. And so at this point, I'm like, Republican Party, what's that? What's that? What's that? Other than those that help propagate racist propaganda, lies. And yes, I didn't even bring up that they're still talking about Sydney today and her attorneys that are still running around talking about this was so outlandish, nobody could have believed it. They're still in court arguing that stupid point. And you still got these people out here with all of this negative behavior, hoping and praying to bring Trumpy Bear back. But it's really not about Trumpy Bear. It's really about protection of this racist society and the things that are allowed to continue to go forth in our system. And at some point we got to say, only the facts, only the facts. Let's deal with the facts. Y'all get ready if y'all see my stream disconnect. Only the facts. Because at the end of the day, we saw a woman knocking at the door, being carried away by, was it 3 or 4 police officers in handcuffs? And then we look over and see what I showed you of a compilation of racist, crazed people out here on the steps of the Capitol, hollering and screaming, Trump told us to come here. He invited us to come here. And then you heard the young man 25 minutes ago, Trump tweeted out, we did a good job. We did a great job. So I'm looking and I'm saying, what in tarnation is going on? And I just saw a big chunk fall off. So y'all tell me if I lost somebody. Let me know where I am on YouTube. Let me know where I am on Facebook. Let me know where I am in Twitch, Patreon. Let me know if you're still there, because I saw a huge chunk just drop off. I don't know if they left or I don't know if they got disconnected. But at the end of the day, I'm telling it. I'm giving you this coffee. No cream, no sugar. I'm telling you, this coffee is strong and black, because I'm telling you like it T-I-Z tis. At the end of the day, what we are seeing manifest is out of control. It's out of control. And so I'm going to say again, yes. I'm going to say it once more and again. We've got to pay attention. Facebook is still on. Thank you, Teresa. We've got to pay attention to what's going on in our communities. I'm so glad Keita was here. I'm happy to hear. And this is what I'm talking about, village gathering. I got people to the polls, because this is important. I'm not saying it from the standpoint of some crazed partisan whatever. I'm coming, when we start talking about Jesus is in charge of this country and we're doing what Jesus would want us to do. What are you doing with the part of the Bible, Miss Racist? What are you doing with the part of the Bible, Miss White Supremacist? What are you doing with the part of the Bible that talks about justice? What are you doing with the part about righteousness and rightness for people's lives? What are you doing with all of that? How can you tell me that this is what the Bible tells you to do when you're suppressing and oppressing groups of people that don't look like you? That's not God. And so at the end of the day, for those of us that understand this is insanity and this is madness and it's got to stop, I'm telling you, we cannot wait until it's time for the elections, because by then it's too late. We need to galvanize this moment. And this is a stark moment that allows us to see the difference between a black woman knocking at the door and being arrested by 3 to 4 to 5 burly white police officers and taken to jail on bogus charges, including police assault because you stepped on my foot 3 times with your heels. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? And put in juxtaposition, put on the other side of the screen that clip that I showed you with the violence, the breaking of the cameras, the destruction, the vulgarity in the epithets, and the screaming and the hollering. And you want to say Blue Lives Matter, and the talk and the discussion and the verbiage that I heard being hurled at those police officers? And are you kidding me? Stop playing games, America. Stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. And everybody that's eating the cake, eat the cake, Ida Mae, eat the cake. Everybody that's eating the cake and drinking the Kool-Aid, this is not a party. This is a mess that needs to be corrected and changed, and it needs to be corrected at the highest levels. And if we look at it and the leadership is leading us into the paths of sin, the people need to stand up and begin to speak now and do whatever we can. If we don't take this moment that has really come out, I mean, it is social media and especially Twitter is buzzing, because you cannot look at this woman, this black woman, this black representative of the state of Georgia being arrested for knocking on a door, and you cannot tell me if she's going to be arrested and given federal charges. You cannot tell me that there is not some racist behavior and mindset involved in how she was treated and arrested and what happened with those insurrectionists on January the 6th. Am I talking to anybody? At the end of the day, we're lions, and you're gonna hear us roar. So Village Gathering is right on time on this Fresh Start Friday. Because listen, unless we want to go back to the dark ages of racism, where they could do anything and everything they wanted to do to anybody that didn't look like them, and they're still doing it, but they're reversing and turning back so much of the opportunity that we found through law to make this thing right. And now we have governors across the brotherhood. And yes, I said brotherhood because we're all brothers and sisters. We've got governors across the brotherhood. Thank you for liking the stream. We've got we've got governors across the brotherhood that are trying to turn back the clocks, hands of time, and take us back to a age and a season that we're not going to relive it. We are not. Not only are we going to relive that existence that was put on us back in that day, we want change to move forward. We are moving forward. I decree and I declare we are moving forward. This pride, Pride, and what you tried to steal from us in pride, small Pride, what you tried to steal from us in pride, you couldn't do it. So this pride, Pride, all caps, this Pride Alliance is relentless, and you're gonna hear us roar. I support Representative Connors. I support everybody that stands up against this oppression that you're trying to do in the legal system. And that goes back to what we talked several months ago, the color of law, the color of money. And you go back to that whole element of what's de jure, what they actually have on the books, And this is an example of trying to take us back into a place of low living and oppression de jure. I'm going to put it in the books. This is the way it's going to be. Or whether you continue to do it de facto. The books say one thing, but we're going to do something else. Either way you come at us with racism, we reject it and we send it back. We will not go back in to the racist America that has run this country from its onset, and the racism that has been leveraged and pushed on all different hues of melanin, brothers and sisters, just because you got less melanin in your skin. You are not the chosen people. You are not the ones that God has called to be in the head. And no, all of us together, and we are not free until we are all free. And we got to gather the village, y'all. I loved it when Keita said she was taking people to the polls, and especially the young people. We got to go back and make sure as we're gathering the village, get our young folks and our babies, because we need everybody. We leave nobody behind. We need everybody. So we got to identify. You talk about all of these different things and what's going on with the children. And I talked earlier in the week about the reality that many times we look at the standardized tests coming out, and those standardized tests are what they're using to decide and determine how many jail cells they're going to have and how many jail cells they're preparing and getting ready for the children when they come out. Some of them don't even get out of school, child, before you know it, and they want to declare them adults. They want to make sure that they can go ahead and throw the whole book at them, just like they grown, able-bodied people. So, and that happens for black people more than it does for our white brothers and sisters. So we want to grow them up, even if they only 15, 16, try them as an adult, try them as this, try them as that. At the end of the day, let's deal with the reality while we go through these standardized tests which are skewed against our children and everything else. Then let's deal with the realities of, well, even let's talk about, did I have enough food to eat before you set me down to take the test? Because I can't concentrate on taking the test when my stomach is growling because I haven't eaten. How about that? My stomach is growling because I haven't had decent food since who remembers when. And when I did eat, it was nothing but some cheap bag of potato chips because I'm eating junk food because that's all we can afford. Am I talking to anybody? We cannot leave our children behind. How do you expect me to form properly when you're not going to give me the proper tools that I need to be able to form as a healthy adult? You're not giving me the emotional. You're not giving me the physical. You're not giving me the psychological. You're not giving me the nutritional values that I need to be able to thrive in this society. But then you want to come back and judge me and have a prison cell waiting for me that you built for me when I was in 3rd grade. We got food deserts. I can't get access to healthy food. I can't get access to food without chemicals in it. I can't get access to fresh food and produce. I can't get access to anything that looks like what y'all get out there in that suburban America. No, we've got to gather the village. And I'm going to say, even to my sisters and brothers, I'm not mad at you for being out in suburbia, but if you're out in suburbia, I don't care if you have to buy something out there that's good and quality and drive it down to the city folk in the urban core. Let's gather our villages together so that we can give everybody equal opportunity. Please just give everybody a chance. Would you please just give them a chance? You may be in suburbia today, but baby, if they have their way, you'll be sitting someplace else tomorrow. Can we care about the people that are outside of my little sphere and outside of my little circle? Because there's some people that are suffering, and we've got to gather the village. This pride, Pride, of lions is relentless, and you're going to hear us roar. And don't do it for a photo op. Don't Don't do it for an opportunity to tell people, look at me and look what I did. Do it because your heart is right. Do it because your heart is pure. Do it because you genuinely care about people besides the folks in the four walls of your household. We are village gatherers. We are lions. And this pride, Pride, is relentless. And you're going to hear us roar. It's going so much deeper than this superficial mess that people are getting all caught up with. Some of this stuff that the Republicans are doing is nothing more than a distraction. They're throwing a rock to the left so that you're not looking at the dastardly deeds they're really doing on the right. We got to get a whole vision of everything that's going on. Don't get distracted with small stuff. There are bigger fish to fry that we need to pay attention to. And we need to get this village gathered. Because our lives do depend on it. I'm not trying to fearmonger here either. And I know some, well, honey, no. Y'all saw what happened. And I wanted you to see it. I purposely queued it up so you could see it and not just take my word that this is what happened while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. I wanted you to see it with your own two eyeballs. And then I wanted you to see the disparity, just screaming and blaring, the difference between how it's handled on this side and how it's handled on that side. And then you tell me with any level of certainty and absolute truth that there is no difference between this side and that side. And if you didn't see a difference between this side and that side, I just don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. If you saw no difference, if you legitimately saw no difference between this side and what happened with Representative Connors and that side, Cannon, and what happened with that side, and I'm gonna, again, the Texas brother is still yet walking free. As he stood in the midst, as he stood in the midst of the insurrectionists, with the confirmation, it's confirmed he's in D.C., but his whereabouts are unknown. His whereabouts are not unknown. He's in there with the insurrectionists. Texas, and he's still walking around while our representative from Georgia, our black sister, had to sit in jail until somebody came and got her out, and the charges are still filed. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. Am I talking to anybody in here? The time has come where we must gather. We must come together. We must draw ourselves. Colorism has no place, has no place, has no place. Stop all of it, because at the end of the day, we're not talking about anything but the amount of melanin in your skin, in your pigment. That's all we're talking about. Otherwise, same. If you let some of us get a vitiligo, we'll go white just like everybody else. Same. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling today. Because I look and the time is screaming at us. Thank you for the biddies. Time is screaming at us, y'all. Rebel, I appreciate you. It's time to make that change. It's happening. We may still be sheltering at home, but believe me when I tell you, it's happening. What we saw happen at the Georgia Capitol yesterday, it's happening. Change is on us. It's here. It's not coming. It's here. It has come. It's happening. And I need us to become as active as we can be. Thank you for this, Biddy's BTD mom. Thank you so much. It's time for us to start acting. Thank you for the cheer. It's time for us to start gathering now. Get your stuff together now. Get your village together now. Thank you for the biddies, BTD Mom. Get your village together now. Get your tribes together now. I'm going to go back to that I Am Athlete video that we shared of them getting their tribe together. That I Am Athlete village that has gathered together after the suicide of their brother. That's how you gather the village, beloved. That's how you gather the village. Find the need and fulfill the need. Meet the need. Plug in the holes where there are gaps. Plug in the gaps where there are cracks. Plug in the cracks. There is so much work for all of our hands to do. There's so much work for us to come together on. Am I talking to anybody? We don't have time to sit on our hands. And I'm going to tell you this, our lives depend on it. But listen, I need you to think about the generation that's coming behind us and the generation that's coming behind them. If we don't seize and operate in the moment of what's happening now, you are setting something in motion for what will be happening for our children, for what will be happening to our grandchildren, and what will be happening to our great-grandchildren. If we don't gather the village now, it's gonna bite our babies in the future. Am I talking to anybody? And I'm not trying to be political, but unfortunately, we only have one political side that's acting like they got some sense. I'm talking about humanity and humanitarianism. That's what I'm talking about. But humanitarianism has no ability to thrive and survive and live if we allow this current process to continue on in its way, which is nothing about protecting white supremacists and racism. That's all it's about, y'all. Plain and simple. I can't reduce it to anything else. That's at the core, that's at the root, and it must stop. Am I talking to anybody? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Do you feel it down in your shando? Oh, and I feel good. It's still a Fresh Start Friday. But I feel like my land today, if this isn't a sign, if this isn't the banner waving, it's time to march. Mark time is over. For all of my people that were in marching band, mark time. You just stand in place and march. But when you get that forward march command, it's time, move. And then you'll hear a cadence before it's time to put that horn to your mouth or put that instrument in action and play. Listen, mark time is over. Forward march. I hear a cadence that's saying it's time, make some noise. Put that instrument in your possession to use and make some noise. And I promise if the village will just gather, we can make what is now a cacophony. And a cacophony is nothing but a large amount of raucous noise. We can make this cacophony of racism that has been sounding since the very beginning of our African heritage and history in this country. Now, remind you, this isn't where we began. We began back in Mother Africa, and we were kings and queens and princes and princesses. But at the end of the day, now that we're here, let us not forget we are kings and queens and princes and princesses. And yes, we are black people and people of color, but we all can reign and rule and be together in one love, in one blood, in one mind, if we would all just stop tearing each other down, and let's once and for all build this village and gather this village together. We don't have to perpetuate not another day, not another moment, this insanity, this cloud, this dark cloud, this poisonous cloud. And I'm going to go back to what Coogee said earlier. This stank cloud. This stank cloud that has tried to permeate this land and hold it hostage for centuries. It's time to move. It's time to start a song that has a melody. And I'm going to sing it to my friends. It's time for us to start a sound that's got harmony and dissonance, but dissonance that can be resolved into a beautiful melodic sound. All of that comes together, dissonance, harmony. All of that comes into play when you have a song, when you have a movement, when you have a symphony. But it can be organized in a way such that by the time you get finished, what you have is a masterpiece. And that's what I'm after right now, y'all, is the masterpiece. It's in us. It's in every last one of us. Whatever our color, whatever our level of melanin, it's in us. And I defy anybody that's still out there saying, no, that ain't never gonna happen in this lifetime. That ain't never gonna happen, spiritual thought leader. With that mindset, that's the only thing that has kept it from happening. I need you to rehabilitate your mind. I need you to rehabilitate your thinking. I need you to rehabilitate your process and mindset so that you can understand. If everybody would just get on the bandwagon and change their mind, all there is to do it is to do it. All there is to do it is to do it. But we got too many naysayers and too many doubters and too many people that are comfortable operating in this dysfunction. But I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of seeing this operation, this level of living, and this level of lack of humanitarianism that wants to ravage the land. We are different. We're better than this. And guess what? We're going to show it. We are going to show it. That's all I'm going to say today. I'm not going to try to run the full 2 hours because I feel like I've said more than enough. I feel like I've shown you more than enough to see why and how we need to change. It's in our hands. Let's do this. It's in our ability. And I don't know about you, it's in my heart. And I hope that's what is in my heart can spread to your heart. Yes, you. Thank you for the cheer. Thank you so much for the Biddies Rebel. I hope that this can come from my heart to yours. You. Yes, you. Yes, you. I want you to take up your energy and take up this cause and take up this vision and say, okay, we can do this. And what we talked about in the Scrum diversity, equity, and inclusion model, we got to have transparency. We've got to investigate what we are moving forward to, but we got to be transparent. And that's really what this week I tried to talk about, some things to make it transparent. Colorism, let's be transparent. It's still among us. We got to get rid of it. We still have radio hosts and television hosts that want to put it out there and spew it into the environment. We got to stop it. Colorism has got to stop. We got to understand, I am my brother's keeper. I can't just act like I'm not. What happens in your life, I'm a part of that. What happens in my life, you're a part of that. Let's learn how to come together and deal for real. Take up the cause and let's do this together, because I know we can. I know that we can. I know that we can. And guess what? We will. We will do this. All right. I love y'all with the love of God. I really, really do. Friday, I want you to take everything that I've said. I want you to take all of these little nuggets, all these little thoughts. I want you to take what you saw visually. I hope that that visual that I gave you all was enough to make something stir and rise up within you that said, I'm not just going to watch. I'm not just going to sit back and see what everybody else does. I'm going to be a part of the solution. I love you too. I love you too, BTD Mom. I love all you guys out there. And this is what we do on Yes You, O Cubed, one-on-one, just me and you. Well, I feel for my brother. And I feel for my sister. I love y'all. I really, really do. I love y'all with the love of God. I love you with all my heart. And I appreciate you for coming in and being a part of today's podcast. Now, yes, this is Yes You OQ, one-on-one, just me and you. This has been live with Regina L. Stillman. And I'm so glad that you came in to listen to your spiritual thought leader on today. And you can follow me in all kinds of places. I'm out there on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, Twitter, Twitch, Anchor, Discord, and more. I'm out there all over the place, y'all. And we are preparing to really march forth and do some things together. Keep watching, keep looking, keep listening, because we're pulling some things together to make a difference. We're not just talking. We're not just talking about change, but I really believe instead of just talking about change, we're going to be the change. And I tell you, even as my friend Rhonda Royal says, if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. And my close always is to remind you, yes, you. It's us, you, we, me, all. We in this thing together. And I love you. I really, really do. And as I always like to say, as we get on up out of here, I want you to take this Fresh Start Friday, do something special with your day, and then come back and meet us again on Tuesday morning. We'll be here bright and early. And I love you. Peace for your journey.
You're my brother. I said I love you, babe. I won't forget you, no. Oh, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. It's time to feel life is cheap. Everything's disposable and so are we. Can you hear me? Life is real, yeah. And if there's a heaven above, please start showing a brother real love. Cause I wanna go home. Oh, I feel for my brother. I miss you, man. Oh, I feel for my brother.